Hello, Hockinson Middle School families. My name is Brian Lehner, and I'm the principal here at Hockinson Middle School.
And I'm Kim Edaglin, the assistant principal here at the middle school. If you haven't already watched the district video, I'd encourage you to do that first. It will provide you some basic information that will put this message into context. We want you to know that we are excited to work with your young people, and we really want them to be successful. So this video is to provide you information about three main ideas. The first one will have to do with what the 2021 school year will look like. We'll also have information on the remote learning schedule, and then also how we're going to communicate with you over time. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Mr. Lehner, who's going to talk about what that school year is going to look like.
Yes, we're very excited to be back at the start of another school year and working with our families on making this another successful year here at Hockinson Middle School. So this year, during the online remote learning that we're going to do with Hockinson Middle School, there'll be some changes from last year and last spring. I know 7th and 8th graders were with us last spring and kind of know how our schedule ran then, and 6th graders are going to be new with us this year and probably had a little bit different schedule at the elementary school than they had here. So this year attendance is required by the state. So we have to do what we've done in the past when we're in person, is take attendance for all of our students on each day. Whether that means during Zoom classes or when you're working at home, self-directed. We'll have ways to take attendance in both of those situations. Grading is resuming as usual if we were in school this year, so assignments will be graded if they're graded in the past. In the spring, as you know, the grading happened, but grades could not be changed based on the work that we're doing at home. So that's a difference this year, as the expectations are that assignments will be graded again and students will receive grades for their work as we move through this. Work expectations, again, last spring was reduced by the state. They required us to do a certain amount of work and limited what we could do with our students. And this year they're expecting us to go back to what it was similar to when we were in school full-time before we went to online learning last year. So you can expect your students to do a similar amount of work at the middle school as you did before. If you're 7th and 8th graders, you have an idea of what that is. 6th graders, we will be sending out more information as we go through this month to pick you up on these things about attendance and grading and so forth. So the schedule that we have for this year, I'm going to share the screen with you here and show you Hockinson Middle School Remote Learning is the student schedule for 2021. And we're going to show you parts of the schedule as we go so we can talk about specifics. Mrs. Abeglin's going to chime in if I forget something as we're going. But what I have showing right now would be the daily schedule. This is for Monday classes that we would have. And one of the first things I want to point out is you see in blue at the top and towards the bottom, the synchronous word is used a lot in online schooling, and so is asynchronous. So to define that with what we're doing at the middle school, synchronous equals the Zoom classes, which will be live interactions between our teachers and our students. That will take place in the mornings in the middle school schedule. And in the afternoons, it's asynchronous, which could be recordings or other documents and assignments that students would access on their own and then work on their own at that, or at home with that on their own. So a typical day for us at the middle school would start with home base on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And that's a time that we work on our social emotional learning with our students, check in with them, see if things are going well, things that they need help with. And what we're going to do with that home-based class this year is keep them as the same home base that they had last year. So 7th and 8th graders this year will be in the same home base as last year. We think that will give them a smoother transition with a group of students that they're used to working with. And 6th graders that are coming up, we're going to do the best we can to keep them in the same classes that they had by teacher last year, at least for home base. So again, they're starting out the year with a group of students that they're used to working with in that home base class. And then on Monday, the plan is to have periods 1, 2, and 3 in those time slots. Again, those would be with Zoom meetings with the teacher and any number of activities going on in those classes with the teacher being able to give feedback and kids being able to ask questions and kids working together in that as much as we can. And then that 12:35 to 1:30 would be a lunchtime put exercise there for kids to do in recess, activities like they would have a chance to do at school, have a brain break. They've been online for about 3 hours and be ready to transition into their afternoon. And like last year, we'd like to give you a schedule for that afternoon that would let your students keep on pace by performing the activities at home during these times. But again, as families, sometimes these times work for you, sometimes they don't, but this work would need to be done by the end of the day. So that 1:30 to 2:05, fourth period, and again, asynchronous learning, and periods 5 and 6 to finish out the day. And these times at the end of the day do correspond with teachers' office hours, where teachers will be available, and the various ways of communicating with the teachers will be addressed in future communications with home as we provide more videos and documents for you. And then just moving over to Tuesday would be the second half of the schedule. Again, starting with home base, but then doing 4, 5, 6 with a synchronous video or online communication with students and teachers. And then the end of the day being periods 1, 2, and 3. So as far as Wednesday goes, Wednesday we don't start with home base. Just like in our regular at-school schedule, we don't have home base on Wednesdays. And Wednesday would be a day for students and teachers to work in smaller groups. If teachers need to communicate with students in small groups to help push them along or to help catch them up, those would be by appointments that the teachers would make with the students. Also, the students would be working on asynchronous learning during this time at home. Then in the afternoon, there will be collaboration time with our teachers like it is normally on Wednesdays when we're at school. And then you'll see Thursday and Friday is just a repeat of the Monday and Tuesday schedule and activities for those days. So I'm going to turn this back over to Ms. Ebegla to talk about future things that will be available for you. But if you have questions about this schedule, please feel free to email either one of us and we can answer those. Ms. Ebegla.
So in terms of communication, so in addition to being able to reach us by email, we also want to make sure that we are giving you information along the way as we prepare for the start of the year. I know that you probably have lots of questions and concerns. So you can expect to receive a weekly short video that will give you information, and then there'll be targeted videos around specific ideas. So more information about Schoology, more information about how attendance will work, more information on what it looks like to come to the building. That way we can address the questions that you have and some of the new aspects of our school year coming up. In addition, as questions come to us, as it says on the screen, we'll put together a frequently asked questions and get that sent out to you as well. So you have, because your question is probably somebody else's question as well, we want to make sure that we answer those. And so with that, we are working hard, looking forward to being able to connect with your kids, to connect with you. Don't hesitate to reach out, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you soon.